Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about hydration for endurance athletes. Properly hydrating for endurance athletes is not only a crucial component for their nutrition, but also for their performance. Adequate fluid levels are needed to optimize competition as well as training sessions. First, let's talk about some terms. So dehydration is the process, not the state, of going from a euhydrated state, which is normal body fluid within 2% of your body mass, to a hypohydrated state, which is when you lose more than 2% of your body mass in fluids. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there's hyperhydrated, which is when you gain more than 2% of your body mass in fluids. Low body fluids can actually impair your performance in a couple of different ways. First of all, it can increase your heart rate and even the level of exertion that you're feeling while you're doing the exercise. In addition, it can decrease stroke volume, cardiac output, and even neuromuscular control. It could even decrease the amount of blood flow that's going to your working muscles. And lastly, being more than 2% hypohydrated can actually cause impairments in your strength and power. Being hypohydrated can actually increase your core body temperature, which could increase your risk for a heat illness, especially if your body's having trouble thermoregulating. There are 3 methods that you can use to evaluate hydration status. The first is drinking to thirst. And the issue with this is that thirst is not always indicative of your actual hydration level. Some people will drink before they become hypohydrated, while others will not. So this is not an adequate method for every single endurance athlete. The next method is metered. Metered is where you would drink X amount of water every 15 minutes over the entire exercise period. And this method is okay because you are getting fluids, but you might drink too much and you might drink too little. And it is not an individualized plan by any means. And the last method is prescribed. So you would weigh yourself before and after exercise with minimal clothing, and you would actually calculate your sweat rate so you would know how much fluid you're losing and how much you should be consuming during the exercise period. When you are rehydrating, it's important that you consume fluids with electrolytes. Electrolytes are very important for nerve conduction as well as muscle contraction. If you consume water without electrolytes, it could actually increase your risk for hyponatremia, which is low blood sodium in addition to the symptoms that come along with it, which could be nausea, confusion, weakness, dizziness, and on the extreme end of things, even coma and seizure. Although hyponatremia and heat illness can both easily be prevented and treated, it's important that you maintain hydration and electrolyte levels. An interesting fact is that some elite athletes can actually perform some of their best competitions while 4 to 9% hypohydrated or even hyponatremic, and that is just because their body is well acclimated to the heat and the stress that's placed on their bodies. In summary, hydration is crucially important for all endurance athletes. Ideally, everyone would have an individualized drinking prescription. Although that's not always the easiest or time-conscious method, it is typically the best to prevent hypohydration. If you remain in a euhydrated state, you should have no performance impairments whatsoever. It is often recommended that you should consume a sports drink in extended bouts of exercise in order to replenish fluids, electrolytes, as well as carbohydrates. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a lot about hydration status and how important it is for endurance athletes.